Hello, everyone. I'm Diane Wolkstein. Since I can remember, I've been in love with stories. When you tell a story and there's an audience, there's an inspiration that takes place. There's a creativity that takes place. Part of it is adrenaline, and part of it is that there's more than one that's creating the story. So I used to tape the stories because I couldn't remember exactly everything I said, and then I would go home and listen to what I had said and often adjust the stories based on the telling. So almost all the stories that books that I've written have been based on writing, telling, many, 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 many times. So one of the things you can do is read stories in an oral way. And the way that I do it, if I am asked to do that, is I'll hold the book so that I don't see the cover, but the audience sees the cover. Then I open it slowly, and then I turn the pages without looking at it. So my fingers are working, and I don't worry that I get the words right. I'm not looking at the words. I'm just sort of telling because I know it well enough. And then I pace the page turnings with the excitement of the story. So that's another way that you can add excitement to reading, is by allowing the page turns to create the suspense of what happens next. Let's say you're going to read it the next day. You can read it twice, and by the third time you read it, it's really exciting. Just practice at home before you do it. It'll be adequate if you do it without practicing, but it'll be really moving for both you and the students if you practice it so that you're inside the characters. If you practice it, you know when each person is about to speak and you have the voice of that person, you have the rhythm of that person. It doesn't take so much work. It just takes a little work and it'll be so much better. We all still need bedtime stories. We still need the story at the moment and the touch. All of those are really important. I love stories. And one of the reasons I love them is I had a lot of suffering when I was young. And I didn't know why I was suffering or how I could get out of suffering. And no one told me. They taught me facts, but no one said, here's how you could be happy. And so stories were of great interest to me because I felt that they gave you examples of how one person would be miserable and how another person would be happy. And they somehow offered life's lessons. So my heart was really open to them, but it was open because it was broken. So I think an open heart is a broken heart. And it's open to other ways of living because the ones that you've had previously haven't worked well. I always thought that Shirley, my friend, who was so cheerful, had never had anything broken in her heart because she had a very happy childhood and adored her mother, adored her father. And yet she loved these stories that we told. So I think it's within everybody. Everyone has a certain amount of suffering of different degrees and a certain concern for how you might live in a more profound and a more valuable way. And I think that's what stories are telling you. And the more your heart is open to that, the more you walk into a path that will allow you to transform suffering into happiness. The stories offer wisdom, I feel, and they offer wisdom to the different aspects within ourselves. So we're made of different components. We have a body, a mind, emotions, and a spirit. And so different stories will speak to those aspects. And when we give all of those aspects in different ways, then the entire body is animated. The entire being is animated because we're touching on those things. Some people like witty stories, and some people like emotional stories, and some people like stories of the spirit. So I think it's important to offer all of those. And I like to offer all when I'm doing a program because everything gets engaged. That so much of life is simply you have a yearning for something and you go toward it, and it might teach you something that you have no idea about until the next crossroads you come to, and then all of it together begins to form a story. But you don't know the story till you get to the end.